My name's Jason Drury. I'm from Ventura, California, and this is my 1975-ish shovelhead chopper. You know, I guess we try and make them as safe as we can. That being said, they're all pretty sketch, and choppers are kind of the epitome of sketchy, which also makes them fun. The first time I rode a bike, motorcycle, was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago in Costa Rica. I had never rode a motorcycle before that. Pretty much just went there with my buddies to surf, and quickest, cheapest, easiest way to get around was motorcycles. So we went and bought some Hondas and asked the guy there the day we bought them how to ride them, and he didn't really answer us. Got a little freaked out and turned around and walked away, and we just kind of had to figure it out. We jumped on some dirt roads and made our way back to the cabins, and the rest was history. I think like the next morning, the guy that we were renting cabins from asked me if I wanted to go on a surf trip, and he's like, now that you got a motorcycle, you can go see some really cool surf destinations. So I followed him and another buddy of his. Both of them were phenomenal riders, and they did not wait for me. And it was about a 5-hour ride one way on a dirt road through all kinds of just crazy stuff, over rivers, across little one-person bridges, and I had to like shove wood in the tailpipe and push it through a river and tip it upside down, pour all the water out. That was literally like, that was how I learned how to ride motorcycles. Who inspired me to build bikes was probably this old guy, Ty, mostly. He was my buddy's stepdad, and growing up, he was probably the main person that I knew that had motorcycles and worked on them, and he always just had a sweet collection of bikes, and I just wasn't really into them back then. But then once I started getting a little more of a taste for motorcycles again and all that, I remembered him and hit him up and was like, hey, I'm starting to get into bikes and I don't really know anybody else. Maybe you can kind of, share your 2 cents with me and shine some light on the subject. And next thing I knew, I was, building a chopper. The bike I'm building today started life as a 1975 FLE, I think, or FLH. Basically like a stock, pretty typical looking Harley, similar to the one like the Terminator rode. It has a handful of parts on it from later model years, some weird crossover stuff, and a lot of custom parts. So now it's definitely its own unique Frankenstein of a machine. I got the bike, it was a swing arm frame. It had this same engine, so I pretty much just stripped the bike all the way down to the frame. I contacted this guy, Jake Reisman. I met him at a funeral for a local chopper builder. His name was David Huggy Bear Hansen. He had a shop called The Shop, and when I went to that funeral, all these dudes rode up on badass choppers, and I went up to them and I said, hey, I got this old 75 shovelhead and I have a hardtail kit for it, but I don't really know how to weld and I'm not trying to fuck this thing up by myself. So he said, yeah, well, that's what I do for a living. But I did have to weld in like my own oil tank bungs and tabs and a brake stay, and we made the sissy bar from scratch. Just kind of had to shave a lot of the existing things off that we didn't want and add little things that we did want. The only advice I would give anybody else is if you have a bike that you're willing to tackle this kind of a project on, I would definitely just dive into it and strip it down and start going. I've had basically zero experience with motorcycles from the moment I got into it, and but a big desire to learn and A lot of the information is out there on YouTube, and I bet you once you start diving into it, you'll realize there's a lot of people out there that you probably even know personally that are into the same stuff, and they're usually really helpful and eager to help and just as psyched on you building your own bike as you are building your own bike. So it's a pretty cool little community, and I'm thankful to have gotten the help from all the people that I've gotten, and now I just can't wait to finish piecing it together. And it's a couple little bells and whistles here, literally and figuratively, and then I should be riding this thing in the next few days. It's been a fun process. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but mostly fun.